Essentially, there is only one inner call, but the different religions have devised different methods to make man aware of it. Please continue watching for more insightful wisdom from the beloved Hindu saint Sri Anandamayi Ma, vegetarian.
I want everybody to be vegan, and when somebody asks me about why I choose not to use dairy, then I tell them that the cows have to be impregnated, that they're separated from their babies. Victoria Moran, vegan.
Limbuwan, high up in the Himalayas, welcomes adventurous trekkers. Be sure to greet the gracious locals with Sevaro, which is hello in Limbu. I am Dhanvi. The peace-loving Limbuwan people appreciate your dedication to finding spiritual enlightenment and our reconnection with God. May the Divine bless our world and bring peace and friendship to all of Earth's inhabitants. Welcome to Finding God Selections from Vani, a collection of the teachings of Sri Anandamayi Ma, vegetarian, part 1 of 2. On Words of Wisdom. Sri Anandamayi Ma is a beloved Hindu saint who graced our planet from 1896 to 1982. She was born in the village of Keora in present-day Bangladesh. Her name, Anandamayi Ma, was given to her by her devotees and means joy-permeated mother in Sanskrit. She attained self-initiation at 26 years of age. Her saintly qualities have been widely recognized and have also been mentioned by Paramhansa Yogananda in his book Autobiography of a Yogi as follows. I had instantly seen that the saint was in a high state of samadhi, utterly oblivious to her outward garb as a woman. She knew herself as the changeless soul. From that plane, she was joyously greeting another devotee of God. She traveled throughout India and Bangladesh, teaching the importance of living a God-centered life. Everyone could be in tune with the divine, and every opportunity in one's life, be it work or family, done with sincerity, love and devotion would enable one to walk the noble path. She was a vegetarian with a compassionate love for every living being. Her acceptance of all faiths and backgrounds, along with her universal teachings of divine love and joy, has enabled countless people from different walks of life to benefit from her wisdom. Sri Anandamayi Ma was renowned for her realization of joyous self-sufficiency and ability to lovingly connect with people through her spontaneous discourses, kindly directed at the individual audience to enable greatest understanding. Today, it is a pleasure to share selections from the book Vani, a collection of the teachings of Sri Anandamayi Ma, recorded and translated by her devotees Bhaiji and Atmananda respectively. where the devoted saint gives guidance on how to be close to God. Restlessness, agitation, doubt, and the like are certainly objectionable, yet it is the search for happiness that lies at their root. Like a child, thoughtlessly flitting here and there, not discriminating between good and evil, the mind ever seeks joy. But the evanescent pleasures of this world that come and go cannot hold the mind for long. Loving attention and reprimand are both necessary for the education of a child. In a like manner, the mind has to be trained. By frequenting the company of sages, saints, and seekers after truth, by harboring only pure and noble thoughts and emotions, by listening to religious discourses, and by reading books of wisdom, will be provided the right sustenance for the mind inwardly as well as outwardly. Gradually, you become free from all worries until at last you find your rest in the Supreme. On the battlefield, one has to lay stress on the means of self-defense rather than on provocative attack. Similarly, one should take special care to keep oneself protected within the entrenchment of discrimination and intelligent reasoning reinforced by consecrated activities that make the mind God-centered, so that the outer enemy in the form of craving for sense pleasures may not be able to intrude. The mind is its own friend or foe. The mind itself has to destroy its own ignorance. The easiest and most effective means for purging the mind is to associate with saints and seekers after truth and to ceaselessly invoke the name of God. People seek only outer opportunities and conveniences. They fail to realize that so long as they are merely concerned with success and failure, they simply remain on the surface of things. Unless one looks within and without simultaneously, God cannot be found. The body, worldly possessions, one's home and people belong to the external. Meditation on the self and the endeavor to let one's thinking be permeated by Him are inner processes. To run after physical and mental comforts will only strengthen attachment to external pleasures, and rust will collect inwardly. This is why life after life has to be spent in cleansing the mind from all accumulated dross and impurity. So long as one cannot make a clean sweep of outer attractions, one should at least aim at directing one's attention within as well by seeking the essence of things and meditating on Him, who is bliss eternal. Gradually, the glorious moment will dawn when one's whole being will be united in single-minded contemplation and the inner and outer welded into one. You are given too much discussion about sattvic or pure vegetarian food. For this body, sattvic food means to nourish oneself with divine thoughts and emotions and to abide in the awareness of truth or God. If once a day you eat perfectly pure vegetarian food but remain engrossed in worldly thoughts all day and night, of what use can sattvic food possibly be to you? Within the motor of the mind, pound the medicine of God's name or of self-inquiry with pure aspiration and partake of it. In this way, the opportunity for right diet as well as the necessary ingredients for making it effective will be provided from within. At all times, let your objectives be noble. Give your whole attention to your work. Your mind and body will then develop the qualities you are trying to create by sattvic food. Anything taken in through the senses is food. Therefore, be watchful and see that you do not become addicted to what you observe into yourself. Strive always to keep your appetites under control. Essentially, there is only one inner call, but the different religions have devised different methods to make man aware of it. Once a man awakens to it, there is no more need to cry out again and again. Truly speaking, it is not you who call him, but he who calls you. Just as in the hushed silence of night, the sound of distant temple bells can be clearly heard, even so, when through intense and undivided devotion to him, the hunger of the senses is stilled, his call will find response from your inmost depths and reverberate through your whole being. Then and then only will true prayer spontaneously flow from your heart. This divine call is bound to come to everyone, for Shiva, the eternal spirit, has resolved himself into Jivas, sentient beings, and every creature has to become reconverted again into Shiva, or the eternal spirit. Just as water freezes into ice and ice melts into water, so this play of transformation of Shiva or the eternal spirit into Jiva or sentient beings and Jiva into Shiva goes on and on through eternity. In this world, one cannot afford to ignore anyone. Every human being has a claim to some measure of respect and support from every other. No one should think that he is of greater importance for the maintenance of order in the universe than anyone else. Without a ruler, a country cannot be governed. On the other hand, there can be no ruler without subjects. Each one is progressing continually on the path of action that has been assigned to him by the Creator. Therefore, to consider oneself great and others small because of any merit or position of prestige one may have acquired is a serious mistake. Rather than regard this vast universe as a conglomeration of countless particles, look upon it as one indivisible cosmos, and all distinctions between high and low will then disappear. A man who respects himself will have even more respect for others. Without respect, reverence cannot develop, and without reverence, love will not awaken. When love is wanting, the Lord of love recedes into the far distance and will be difficult to find. Welcome to Finding God Selections from Vani, a collection of the teachings of Sri Anandamayi Ma, Vegetarian, Part 2 of 2, on Words of Wisdom. Sri Anandamayi Ma is a beloved Hindu saint who graced our planet from 1896 to 1982. She was born in the village of Keora in present-day Bangladesh. Her name, Anandamayi Ma, was given to her by her devotees and means joy-permeated mother in Sanskrit. She attained self-initiation at 26 years of age. Her saintly qualities have been widely recognized and have also been mentioned by Paramhansa Yogananda in his book Autobiography of a Yogi as follows. I had instantly seen that the saint was in a high state of samadhi, utterly oblivious to her outward garb as a woman. She knew herself as the changeless soul. From that plane, she was joyously greeting another devotee of God. She traveled throughout India and Bangladesh, teaching the importance of living a God-centered life. Everyone could be in tune with the divine, and every opportunity in one's life, be it work or family, done with sincerity, love and devotion would enable one to walk the noble path. She was a vegetarian with a compassionate love for every living being. Her acceptance of all faiths and backgrounds, along with her universal teachings of divine love and joy, has enabled countless people from different walks of life to benefit from her wisdom. Sri Anandamayi Ma was renowned for her realization of joyous self-sufficiency and ability to lovingly connect with people through her spontaneous discourses, kindly directed at the individual audience to enable greatest understanding. Let us continue with selections from the book Vani, a collection of the teachings of Sri Anandamayi Ma, recorded and translated by her devotees Bhaiji and Atmananda respectively, where the devoted saint gives guidance on how to be close to God. All creatures are fundamentally one, for the whole universe is a manifestation of the One. A man who hears the word Himalaya without having actually set eyes on the mighty range will be under the impression that it is but a single mountain, whereas once face to face with the Himalayas, he will realize that they consist of hundreds upon hundreds of peaks, stretching over hundreds of miles, with milliards of trees, animals, birds, insects, with streams and waterfalls. Similarly, the farther one advances or the deeper one penetrates on the path of sadhana or spiritual exercise, the more clearly will be perceived the one revealed in the many and the many in the one. In actual fact, we are always with the one, but distracted by the many, we forget him. Step by step, we learn to walk. Mouthful by mouthful, we satisfy our hunger. Single letters are composed into words. Groups of days form a month, and months added together constitute a year. You often say there is only the one without a second. This is indeed a fact, for in this universe there is nothing except the one. The world is made up of sense perceptions. Although each one of the five senses reveals a different facet of the immensity of creation, yet their endless movement originates from the one, and they again find their rest in him. Their whole significance lies in giving expression to the one. With the one goal before you, try to focus your whole attention on one form, one perfume, one contact, or one sound, and you will eventually come to see that everything is contained in this one. Thereupon, you will realize that the one appears as the many, and that in very truth, the many are the one. You will know that nothing whatsoever exists outside of the one. So long as speech has to be employed, use your words sparingly. Listen and try to assimilate what others say, and only when necessity demands, utter a few words measured out in homeopathic doses, as it were. Have you not noticed that where large quantities of allopathic medicine fail, a few drops of homeopathic medicine sometimes work wonders? What is the hidden motive behind talkativeness? Is it not to display superiority or erudition, or else to defeat someone by argument? The force of action is much greater than mere words. Superficial conversation and discussion will not take you far. Practice self-introspection and calm the passions of the heart, and you will see how little inclination there is then for talk. At all times, gaze into the heights and keep on mounting. If you aim at what is low, you will sink down into the netherworld. Accustomed to take the even, easy road, you have almost lost the ability to aspire after the sublime. Although you are in the habit of seizing opportunities as they present themselves at every moment, you fail to use this faculty in the right direction. Make a sustained effort to aim at the highest, and if your eyes cannot always remain turned towards the sky, you can surely at least keep them fixed straight ahead. The courage to climb upwards comes through enterprise and perseverance. You often complain that the body is willing, but the mind does not cooperate, or else that the mind is quite active, but the body lags behind. When this is so, you will have to set to work with untiring energy, or your downfall is inevitable. Courage is required in whatever one does. Courage itself is power. Try always to spend as much time as you can in the open air, keeping the body as bare as is practicable. Gaze to your heart's content at the lofty mountains or on the wide ocean, and your words will be frank and free. If you cannot do anything else, at least peer at the open sky whenever you have the chance. Little by little, the rigid knots that make up your shackles will be loosened, and you will find yourself becoming freer. A fully awakened consciousness functions only through an untrammeled mind and body. To be fettered is to be crippled. You brought nothing into this world but your naked body, and one day you will have to depart stripped of everything. If during the short period that lies between birth and death you are burdened with too many possessions and luxuries, it will be very painful to leave them behind. Keep your body light, and your mind will be light. When both body and mind are light, it is easy to attain liberation. Why do you accumulate wealth and possessions? In order to maintain yourself and your family. And for whom does the family exist? If you give a straightforward reply, you will have to admit that it is for yourself. But if you ask, what is this self? You will find no answer, and your intelligence can take you no further. Who am I? Once you sit down and ponder seriously over this question, you will soon discover that all the book learning that you have crammed into your brain in school and college, and all the practical experience you have gained in active life are not of the slightest help in solving this question. If you want to discover the origin of the sense of I and mine, you will have to alter the whole course of your thinking and give your undivided attention to the search for truth. Whenever the mind starts wandering, it must be firmly brought back to concentration upon the source of the I. This is the means by which to arrive at self-realization or Atmadarshan. For more information on Sri Anandamayi Ma, vegetarian, please visit Sri Anandamayi Ma Sangh.org.
By ethical conduct toward all creatures, we enter into a spiritual relationship with the universe. The Reverend Dr. Albert Schweitzer, MD, vegetarian.
Compassionate viewers, it was a joy that you could join us today for Words of Wisdom. Coming up next is Loving the Silent Tears, the musical, part 1 of a multi-part series. May the Divine bless you for all the kind and caring actions that you do to help others.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.